You just passed your CDL road test. Huge win. But now what? Because if you don't take your next few steps fast, you're going to be stuck waiting longer than you actually need to. Let's break down exactly what you need to do right now after passing your CDL road test. Here's a step-by-step guide of exactly what you need to do. Alright, so now that you actually passed the test, step number 1 is actually time to go get your CDL license. Just because you passed the test, there's not an automatic process of actually just getting your license itself. So step number 1, in most states, you're going to actually have to schedule an appointment to go to the DMV. Now, depending on where you take the test, will depend on how far out the appointment actually has to be had. So if you take the test at a local DMV, in most cases, you might even be able to walk in the very same day to actually go to the DMV near you and say, hey, I'm ready to go pick up my CDL license. However, if you take the test at a third-party testing site, it's usually going to take anywhere from 3 to 7 business days before you're actually able to go to a DMV and actually pick up your CDL license. Now, how does this actually work? Who's ever giving you the test, whether it's at a DMV or third-party testing site, will then have to make sure that by the end of that day, upload all the paperwork that they need in order to upload to the national database system. So one of the cool things about being a student here at Driving Academy, if our location has a third-party testing site, is that you can actually come in from any state that you want, get trained by us, get tested by us at our third-party testing site. We'll upload that paperwork for you, and then you just go back to your local home DMV anywhere from 3 to 7 business days later and actually start the process of picking up your CDL license. That being said, what do you actually need for that first appointment? After you make that appointment, you want to make sure you're 100% prepared so you don't have to delay the process even more. It always pains me when I hear people showing up to a DMV after waiting a week to make an appointment because they're super backed up, and all of a sudden not having the proper paperwork and dealing with a state employee and having to go to the back of the line or go back home and having to reschedule everything all over again. You did the hard part already. You passed your actual CDL road test. Now let's try to make the rest as easy as possible. So this is actually what you're going to need to bring for your first appointment. From a high level, you're going to need to bring 6 points of identification. What does that mean? That means pretty much bring everything that has your name on it if you want to be super safe. But to kind of give you overall view, you're going to have to make sure you're bringing your CDL permit, make sure you're bringing your driver's license, passport or birth certificate if you have it, some credit cards with your name on it, and something with your address on it. Probably bring 2 proofs of address. Utility bills one, maybe a tax filing is another, anything that you can actually think of. Make sure you go to your state website and see exactly what that state requires, but as long as you bring 6 points of ID and a little bit extra, you should be good to go and have everything you need. Now, what you're actually going to do at that appointment, you're going to say, hey, I passed my road test, and in many cases, you don't actually have a paperwork to kind of give them to prove that. They have to go log in onto their system, check the national database, and confirm that you actually passed your CDL road test. You want to make sure that you're 100% clear on everything that you're doing with the state employee because they're dealing with hundreds of people per day. So if you do have a paperwork, maybe you took the test at a DMV and they gave you something, you can show that. But even that does not prove that you actually passed the test. It only counts when they actually log into the national database and confirm that you're showing up there A-OK. After they confirm that you actually passed the test, you're going to show them all the proof of identification that you actually do have, and then it's time to pay the bill. So this time, depending on the state that you're in, will be anywhere from like $20 to $120. So make sure you have some cash with you and make sure you're paying to get your actual CDL license. Now, with the new system that the DMV is running around the country, in many states you will not walk away with that piece of plastic. In many states, they'll actually give you a piece of paper, which is a temporary CDL license, and then you actually have to wait at home for the actual real license to come on in. So you're probably wondering, can I work with that temporary CDL license? The answer is yes. But I repeat, before you actually get the temporary license, you are not allowed to operate a commercial vehicle even though you pass your CDL road test. You must wait until you upgrade your actual car driver's license to a CDL license itself. Now, if you're in a state that gives you a temporary license, you will actually receive the actual plastic license in the mail anywhere from 1 to probably 3 weeks later. And some states even have a tracking device, kind of like FedEx, where you can kind of track to see where your actual license is at any given point. But that being said, you got your license, congratulations. But if you're like most of our students who come to Driving Academy, you're probably not just getting your license because you want an extra piece of plastic in your wallet. You want to get your license because you want to make some money with it. And that's where job placement comes in. So one of the benefits our students at Driving Academy have is our lifetime job placement, which means we'll help you find a job till the day you die. However, if you're unfortunate enough not to come to one of our locations, these are some of the tips and tricks on how you can actually start your job hunting career the very first time. One of the biggest hurdles that you're going to face as a brand new driver is you're going to be communicating with a lot of trucking companies out there that require experienced drivers. And now you're like, okay, I just got my license, paid all this money, and I can't get a job because I need experience, but how do I get experience if I don't get a job? And you're going to be stuck in this cycle. So there's many different companies out there, specifically over-the-road companies, that specialize in actually hiring people right out of school. So the more novice you are at anything, the less picky you can actually be at actually picking the right job. So if you want the easiest route to actually start getting hired is going to be start applying for a lot of the big trucking companies like Werner, Swift, and a bunch of others out there that are professionals in hiring people right out of school, because they're going to put you through their own orientation process. Now there's a pre-hire process that a lot of these big trucking companies actually have, which means you can start this process as soon as you actually pass the road test, which means you can wait, okay, I'm about to pass the road test, let me see if I can actually get pre-hired, so by the time you get your license, you can just walk right in and start making money itself. Now, if you're dead set on working for a local company, in many cases, you might have to start off with some Class B jobs first, and then once the company kind of gets more comfortable with you and you have some experience underneath your belt, then they can probably upgrade you to a Class A license. The more flexible you are and the more open to learning, the easier it is going to be to find the first job. And the first job is always going to be the hardest, assuming that you don't mess it up. Because the cool thing about trucking is the longer you stay in the business, the more money you're going to make. Because you're just going to become more and more professional at your career. And how do you make more money? Keep your accidents low, stay safe, and do the job well. If you were a student here at Driving Academy, we taught you all the foundational skills that you needed in order to be great at your first job and every other job after that. And if your goal is to actually own your own trucking company one day, we've helped many students do that as well, and it all starts with getting their CDL license the right way. So I hope that this video helped you out. Put in the comments below if there's anything that you think I missed out on, or if there's any questions you have about where you are in the process of actually getting your license. Now, if you're actually in the process of getting your CDL license, you haven't passed your road test yet, I invite you to come to the best CDL school in the country here at Driving Academy. Check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com. Again, cdldrivingacademy.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you want to get your CDL license, you know where to go. Check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com, right over there. And if you like this video, you'll definitely like this video right over here. So make sure you check that out. But before anything else, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you soon.